Hey everyone, today we're going to be talking to you about the cost breakdown of my van. This is the van purchase itself, everything it took to get it roadworthy, looking good from the outside and the in. I'm going to tell you guys what it costs to get a van from a prison vehicle to a tiny home on wheels. Let's go inside and I'll give you guys a look. So we had lots of people requesting this video from our van tour videos, so we figured we'd give you guys the honest truth of what was spent to make this van into my comfortable tiny home. Saving money on this conversion was a really big part of it. I didn't want to be spending a lot of money all at once, so this was done without going into debt at all and being frugal wherever possible while also making it comfortable inside. Every cent of money that went into this van was earned by me by scrubbing toilets or doing whatever I had to do to make it happen. Every cent of this conversion is in Canadian dollars, not US, because I'm from Canada. And I want you guys to know that this can be done for really cheap, or you can spend a lot of money. Like, the budget is up to you, so this is just my experience of how I made it happen for myself. So let's get into it. When I'm looking down at the laptop, that's just to get the right prices for you guys. So, when looking for a van, I knew exactly what van I wanted, and at first throughout the search, I was willing to sway a bit, but once I set my sight on what I wanted exactly, I was gonna get it. So I have a 2006 Dodge Sprinter van, which is a T1N engine, which from all my research seems to be the best engine for Sprinters because they are Mercedes built, even though it's a Dodge. So I searched a lot, like thousands of hours of searching, and finally the van was bought at an auction, which, if you guys haven't thought of it to get a van, it's a great, cheaper alternative to getting a van. This used to be owned by the province of Ontario, so it was always maintained really well, and I knew that when I was buying it, I was getting something that didn't have any hidden surprises or anything like that. So I bought this at the auction for $5,661, which might be surprising to you. I searched long and hard to get this price, and I was bidding against other people at the auction to get this price. And if you guys are going to be buying a van at an auction or even at a dealership, pay a mechanic $100 to come with you and give you the go-ahead on the van. So I didn't bring a mechanic with me, but we kind of knew what we were looking at. So I got lucky with this van. There could have been a lot of other issues with it. There was a wheelchair lift in the back of the van because it was a prison vehicle. So I sold that wheelchair lift for $350, which brings the total cost of the van $5,311.30, with that's tax in it already included. So that's the price of the van. Of course, your van needs to be safetied once you buy it. And it did need a new muffler, but I was told you can either do this now or you can do this a year from now. And I just wanted it to be completely perfect and ready to go for the road so that there wasn't any surprises when I was on a trip to California or wherever I'd planned to go. So I got a new muffler, I got safetied, I got complete fluid changes, filter changes, rear differential covers, and new brakes. And that came out to a also, all of those parts I was talking about are completely Mercedes parts. I wanted to go with stock, high-quality parts so that I knew that the van would last a lot longer. So the cost of that is $3,680.25, which seemed like a lot at the time, but I can only imagine the cost I'd be paying now if I hadn't had done that infrastructure work to make the van what I wanted it to be. When I bought the van, it had a lot of rust outside, and my dad had originally said he was going to help me paint it. We didn't know anything about painting a van, and there was a lot of body work to be done. So as soon as we got the van, we were in the driveway fixing up all the rust and bought Bondo and rust-proofing paint and all that stuff, and that cost $197.22. Eventually, I had someone leave a card on my van and say, hey, if you want your Sprinter painted, give me a call. It was a really nice old 80-year-old man named Reno, and I ended up getting my van painted through him. So in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have done the bodywork, but that's what it is. It's $200, not the end of the world. So I bought the paint myself because it's a custom color. I had kind of this vision in my head of what I wanted to see, so I went to the paint shop, chose it out, and made it happen. If you guys take a look at the van outside, let me know what you think the color is. I've heard everything from moss green to breastfed baby poop to, I don't know, any of the color you can imagine. I've heard it. So tell me what you think it is, because there's really no name for it. I don't even know what to call it. You don't have to do this. This isn't a necessary part of getting your van built out. This is just, I live in Canada. There are a lot of salts on the roads in Canada. So if you don't deal with the rest you have on your vehicle is going to be eaten away by the salt that is put on the road every year for the winters here. So this is something for me that was necessary. Might not be necessary if you live in a place that doesn't have as much salt on the roads. So the cost of the paint job was $2,220 and the paint was $500. So the whole bodywork price of the van came out to $2,897.22, which if I was going to a professional paint job place would have cost me well over 10 grand if they did it the way that mine was done. Next component of the van build are the lights you see in here, like the solar, the electrical system, everything that makes me be able to plug in my blender and use any appliance I'd be able to use in a normal house. That includes panel, inverter, wires, anything from the little wire connectors that you buy, charge controllers, batteries, components, breakers, all of it. This cost is a little bit low, and so are the ones that are going to be coming up in the video. And the reason for that being is my dad's just a handy guy, and when he sees a part being thrown out, he keeps it and never gets rid of it. So I was able to go into his shop and take a lot of the parts, which also leads me to say that he helped me with probably 10% of the work. 90% is mine. So when I talk about him, it's because he helped me a lot. I'd be able to tinker with stuff with him, but then he'd leave me to do it myself. So I learned a lot during this process too. So the cost of all of those electrical parts are $2,214.09. Also, 200 watts of solar, so it's not 500 or anything like that. Next comes the materials in the van. So that's the wood, the cabinets, the countertop, this table, anything that helped the van look the way it is inside today, screws. We have a studding platform underneath the floor, which makes the floor have spray foam inside. So the studding for that, the paint, everything. Materials will cost more depending on the location you're in. I'm in a rural place, so people are doing it themselves anyway, which drives the cost of wood and all of that stuff down quite a bit. And 70% of the materials in here, if not 80 or 90, are recycled. So I didn't really buy that much to make this category happen. A good example to show how I was being frugal throughout the van build to make all of my stuff as much recycled and as cheap as I could was down the street from me. There was a barn being put up, and we had a really bad windstorm one night, and the whole barn blew over. So it was just the frame of the barn standing, and overnight it fell down. So drove over there and said, hey, can we take those 2x4s? It looks like you're just gonna throw them out. So drove down there with the truck, filled up the truck with as many 2x4s as I could, and used those throughout the van to make my costs a little bit lower. So you just have to be willing to search around, talk to people, and make it happen. So the cost of the materials there are $1,106.24. Next up is hardware. So that's like drawer slides, drawer pulls, hinges, the cabinet locks that I show in the van tour video, stuff like that. The drawer slides are from IKEA, so I spent clearance money on that type of stuff, went to the clearance section and found the cheapest stuff I could find. And if there was furniture being thrown out on my street, I'd ask the person, hey, can I take this? I'd take it, and I'd take it apart to get the drawer slides or whatever component I wanted, and then take the rest of it to the dump or wherever it was going to be taken anyway. So the cost of hardware was $148.46. Insulation is next. So I had the van professionally spray foamed because I knew that being in Canada, it had to be super warm inside, and I figured just go all in on insulation and make that a priority. There's also Reflectix for the windows that I put behind the curtains, and some spray foam cans just for like gaps and cracks that weren't completely done by the professional spray foamer. We spray foamed all 4 sides of the van, so the walls, the ceiling, and the floor, like I explained a little bit back with the studding to help make it warmer on the floor. And I do want to drive this point home. If you want your van spray foamed, make sure you get a professional to do it, because you can really mess it up, because the pressure of the spray foam expanding can really push out and wreck the body of your van. So just call a professional to get that done. It will save you money in the long run. The cost of all the installation was $730. Next up is appliances. So that includes the fan, the fridge, and the oven stove combo that are in the van. The fridge and the oven I bought on Kijiji, which is Canada's version of Craigslist. So I did my best to find something that was going to be reused and save me money in the long run. And the fan is from Amazon. If you want to see the fan hack of how I got this fan for cheaper but made it work both ways, so it blows air in and it blows air out, you can check out our van tour video when I kind of go into a bit on that. So the cost for all of those appliances was $630. And if you know anything about 12-volt fridges, you know that a 12-volt fridge can go up to $1,200 for just the fridge alone. So I really was able to save money on that one. Next up is the heater, which is one of my favorite parts of the whole van because I love being warm and cozy. So what I did was I partnered with HeatSo, and they were able to give me a really great price, to get an S-bar that would work for me in my van. Don't buy a cheap heater if you need a heater. Definitely spend the money all at once, or else over time you're going to be buying 5 cheap heaters to equal to the price of a really good one to begin with. So just buy a really good one and make it last the whole time that you need it. The cost that I was able to get for the heater was $830, which is a great price, and I'm so thankful to HeatSo for that. Next up is the plumbing and water setup. So I have a 20-gallon water tank, a water pump. I've actually bought 2 faucets because the first one, I bought a cheap one and it exploded on me when the pipes froze, which I shouldn't have let happen in the first place. So learn from my mistake. And a gray water tank and all the piping it takes to make that whole system work. I have a little bit of a podcast that is called This is the Wild Road, Van Life Tales, and I go more into the whole faucet situation on that podcast if you guys wanted to check it out. So the cost for the whole plumbing and everything was $553.19. Next up, my second favorite part of the van, maybe, mattress. So this is its own category because you don't have to buy a crazy good mattress like I did. You can buy a foam thing for $200 or whatever and make it work. But I really, really prioritize having a good sleep. And I knew that when living in the van, I wanted it to feel like home. I didn't want to be worried about coming home and having a sleep on something that wasn't going to make me feel well rested. You spend a lot of your life in bed, so just like invest in a good one. So I got a Tempur-Pedic mattress, and I was able to get a really good price on it considering what it is worth. So it's worth $4,500, and I went into the store and told them I wanted a cheap mattress, and the guy was really gracious and offered me the discounted, like I guess you'd say, the one that you try it in the store. People go and sit on it for 2 seconds and suddenly it makes it worth less. So I was able to get my mattress for $1,544.71, which I love this bed so much. Next is safety components. So that's the CO2 detector, the propane tank, propane piping, and fire extinguisher. The propane tank itself was $70, so it makes up the bulk of this category. Don't skimp on these things because you need to be safe in your van. And you need to make sure you're protected against falling asleep and, I don't know how to say it, never waking up again because you don't have a good detector in your van. So that cost $201.75. And there are still aspects of this that I need to buy to put in the van, which I've learned from the nice people who have commented on our van tour video. So thank you for that. Next up is the toilet setup. So I have a sort of DIY composting toilet in the van, and what that includes is the toilet seat that separates the urine from the solids, the 12-volt fan inside of the toilet that pushes all of these smells and air outside of the van, the PEX glue, and a bucket that I bought that didn't end up working for the build I had decided in my mind. It could have been cheaper if I did it again. I definitely would have figured out a way to do it cheaper. So this category, the toilet washroom, cost $236.11. Next up, curtains. So have these lovely curtains right here that I made myself, went to a local fabric store, went straight to the clearance section and got all the material for all the curtains in the van for $150, plus the wire that I used to hang them. Next up is organization, which are the bins in the garage of the van that I use to store useful stuff, and just bins in the cabinets and stuff like that. That is $65. And that's all the money that I've spent on the van. So the grand total that I spent on this van to make it a comfortable, functioning home on wheels that takes me wherever I need it to be is $20,298.32, which, if you ask me, is pretty great. Of course, if I did it again, I might have been able to save money in the long run, but I'm pretty happy with the number that I see at the end of it because now I own this home. I don't pay rent. I'm not paying out of pocket every month. Every single thing in here is mine, and I'm not paying bills towards it every single month. So I'm so happy with the outcome, and I absolutely love this home.
Hey, what's going on, guys? So if you liked Logan's setup and how little money she spent on her van, let us know. I mean, if you ask me, that's pretty cheap. We've seen some really, really expensive rigs out there, and yeah, they're fantastic and they do the great job for those people, but they're a little hefty and I don't think I could afford it.
Well, yeah, for someone in their early 20s, you just gotta do what you gotta do to make it happen and not go into debt for that. I wasn't prepared for it, so you just gotta save up your money and make it work.
Yeah, and you know what? Logan made it happen, and this is her vehicle. As much as I'm here with her and spending time with her, it's her rig. She built it and paid for it. So if you guys like it, make sure to check out our Instagram, see what's going on there. Logan's got a podcast going on as well, so check that out on her website, and we'll see you guys in the future.
Yeah. Thanks so much for listening, guys. I hope that it helps you in some way and you're able to make it happen for yourself.
Alrighty, we'll see you later.
Bye.